Okay, let us begin yoga. I will go a few minutes longer. I took some of your time chit-chatting. If you're watching this on a recording, please subscribe, share. These are all downloaded onto my YouTube channel. So, and for those, participating now, if there's ever a day that you want to do a class, just always remember that. And my YouTube, Share Yoga at Kate's. Yeah. All right. So let's sit comfortably, but nice and tall. So scoot away from the back of your chair a little bit. Bring your hands up onto your lap. Actually, let's just start with moving. As this weather gets chillier, we want to get the blood flowing. So let's just start to move the body. Yeah. And so many times, so many things, so many feelings in the body can happen when it gets cold out. Yeah. And some of us do better in cold, some of us do better in hot, but that change, we talked about that change is inevitable. And we need it. It's good for us, actually. It's to get that little bit of stress when we're too chilly or too hot. It's actually kind of good for us it helps the body to kick into survival mode. Yeah. If we're comfortable all the time, the body's like, well, I don't need my survival mechanism because, you're always at 70 degrees. But when we are cold or we are hot, that's when our autonomic system kicks in to say, oops, I better regulate here. And that helps us to stay healthy longer. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to do a warming breath today, Kapalabhati breath. But let's just arrive in our space. So let's close our eyes. Palms up on your lap. Good. And just settle really quickly. So we were shaking, 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 and now it's time to settle. Yeah, so eyes closed. And let's splay our fingers wide and just bring them onto your chest. And you can just feel the breath as you breathe in and out. You feel the belly rise, the chest rise, nice and slow, soft. So we're feeling the chest rise now as we breathe in, filling our lungs. Okay, and start to breathe a little bit deeper and in and out of the nose if you can. So important to breathe in and out of your nose as much as possible. It warms the air, it filters the air, creates nitric oxide in the body, in the bloodstream to dilate our blood vessels. Our body has this capacity to keep us healthy, to heal, on its own many, many times. All right, and then relax the breath and slide your hands now down to your belly. So now just holding your low belly, relax your arms. Yeah. Now again, breathing in, feel the belly rise, and breathing out, feel the belly draw back. And now as the belly draws back as you exhale, right? Because you want to exhale the breath out of the lungs. We're just going to quicken that. So we're going to slowly move into Kapalabhati breath. It's the warming breath. It's also great for our digestive tract. Good. And so now as you breathe a little faster, as you breathe out your nose really quickly, the belly draws back. As you breathe in, it relaxes. So just be conscious of the exhale breath, and then the inhale will just happen automatically. Yeah. We'll start breathing in, out, as the belly goes up and down. And a really effervescent exhale through the nose, like you're blowing your nose. And then relax. Good. And either keeping your hands, we're going to do 2 more rounds of that Kapalabhati breath. And if you're confused about what to do, basically, again, just concentrate on, as you exhale, press your belly in, back towards your spine. And then as you breathe out, it relaxes. Yeah. Good. All right. So let's begin again. So take a cleansing breath in and breathe out and begin. Breathing in and out, pressing the belly in, out, pressing it in as you breathe out. Like you're pushing the air out of your nose. All the way from your belly. And you can go slower, you can go faster. Four more breaths. And relax. And again, either keeping your hand on your belly, or you can bring your palms up on your lap and just do the last round without hands on belly if you'd like. Continuing to notice the effects of this breath. You might feel a little more energetic. You might even be getting some gurgling going on in your intestinal tract because it's getting things moving around in there. Yeah. And we'll do one more round just at your own pace. So take a breath in and let it go. Good. And then breathe in and breathe out with Kapalabhati. And continue at your own pace. As you quickly drawing your belly back, you're blowing up your nose. Five more. And then relax the breath. And just notice the energy flow in the body. Just notice. If you feel any difference, you might feel a little more energetic, a little more awake. Good. And then if the palms are up on your lap now, just slowly bring them down onto your thighs. Notice that even, how that feels with the palms coming down onto your thighs. Yeah. Good. All right, we're gonna just do some head rolls here. So take a nice breath in, lift the heart, shoulders relax back and down. As you exhale now, drop your chin to your chest. Good. And then roll your head over to one side. And as you bring the head up, press into your feet. And then relax the feet and head over to the other side and forward. And just do two more slow circles. Again, just remembering if there's ever any tightness, pretty a knot in your neck, pause there and then breathe, take a couple breaths in and out there, and then continue. Okay. And then the next time that the head drops forward, reverse. Remembering to use your feet, right? As you breathe in, press into your feet. As you breathe out, relax the head back down. Yeah. But just engaging the lower body, even though we're doing just circles with the upper body. Good. And the next time that the head comes forward, pause. Now press down into your feet, slowly bring the head back up. Good. And then if you'd like, you can slowly open the eyes. Yeah, I was just watching this really great thing on Nova on PBS, and they were talking about ancient, like ancient humans. And they tended to have really, and they lived in the cold, like, but they would move around, right? 'Cause wherever food was and this and that. But when they were living in the cold, they developed this really big nose, right? Really wide nostrils. And that's because of what we know today is that nitric oxide, and it also warmed the air before it got into their lungs, filtered the air. But mostly when they lived in this freezing cold, They have these wide nostrils to warm the air as they would breathe. Yeah, so we've sort of lost that over time. Our nose started to go, when we weren't chewing as much as they did or needing that breath because we were living in sub-zero temperatures. Our nasal cavities and their jaws started to go in. So when we breathe in and out of our nose, we utilize that function. Yeah, so important. Relax your arms down. Good. And then on an inhale breath, lift the shoulders up and exhale down. Good. And then press into your feet to lift the shoulders up. Stretch your spine long. Exhale. Good. And inhale up and exhale down. And again, sometimes I shake it up. I did this last week in class, but most of you were not in class on Friday. So I'm going to do this again. It's a great shoulder opener, I think. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little stiff today with this chilly morning stuff going on. So we're going to do a little litmus test. We're going to bring our hands into prayer position. Relax your elbows down. Get a nice, gentle, tall spine. Now we're just going to gently press into our palms and lift the right elbow up just as high as you can, and then relax it down. And then lift the left elbow up, just staring straight ahead. Let's do that a couple times and see if you notice if one of your shoulders is a little tighter, or maybe it's a little sore. I can tell that my right shoulder is. Yeah. So keep that in mind. And then relax. Now the shoulder that felt a little bit more effort to lift up, we're going to take that side. So mine was this side. Yours might not be this side. Yeah. So we're going to put whatever the tight shoulder is, we're going to put that hand behind our head. Yeah. And we're going to take the other hand and just lay it right underneath the collarbone on that same side. Good. Good. Now we're just going to do a little stretch. So a nice tall spine. And we're going to inhale, bring our elbow forward, and then exhale, reach it as far back as you can. Yeah. And so just keep breathing and slowly moving the elbow forward and then reaching it back slowly. We're just opening up that tightness. And I think very commonly your tighter shoulder probably tends to be on your dominant side. Yeah. Good. All right, one more here. And this should feel nice, like it's a nice stay stretch. And now bring the elbow just back to neutral out to the side. And now take this hand, these fingers, and just sort of massage right under your collarbone. Yeah, kind of right in the pec muscle area. Good. And then relax and release that elbow down, the hand off your head. Good. And shake it out. Good. Move the shoulders around. Good. And then let's bring our hands back to prayer position. Relax the shoulders. Find your tall spine. Just staring straight ahead. Nice tall spine. Good. And let's do that again. So lift one elbow up and down, and lift the other elbow up and down. And just notice if the tightness is a little bit relieved from that. But this is something nice to do when your shoulders are feeling tight. Yeah. Could be how we slept. Good. So hopefully you got a little bit of opening there. And now we're just going to do the other side because in yoga we do everything on both sides to keep us even. So now the opposite hand, even though that wasn't your tight shoulder, behind your head, and laying that other hand on the opposite hand run underneath your collarbone. And let's just give that a little opening. So stretch back that elbow and then reach it forward. And stretch it back and bring it forward. Have nice open shoulders here. And this also helps to keep our shoulders healthy. Yeah, it's a very complex, our shoulders are a very complex joint. I think probably one of the most complex. And so to avoid having to have a shoulder replacement, joint replacement there. And then relax that shoulder and then just, dig into this side here, right below the collarbone. Just move around, see if you find any tender spots and give that a nice massage. Ah, there's one. Yeah, just taking care of ourselves. Good. And then release, relax that elbow straight down and relax the arms and shake it out. Roll the shoulders. Okay, we are ready. We are ready for pickleball or whatever else we play. Roll it up. Okay. So again, we're scooted forward in our chair. So we're going to do a little dorsiflexion. So one of the, the inability with fall prevention, one of the main things that they look at is the inability to lift your toes. And when you lose that ability to lift the toes, because dorsiflexion, which the dorsi is the front of your ankle, when you lose that strength there and can't lift your toes, we just have more propensity to trip on things, right? And tripping many times equals falling, right? So we want to keep that nice and moving, right? Nice and strong and flexible. Yeah, so we're just gonna lift the toes up and drop, and lift your toes up and drop. And lift up and drop. And now we're gonna lift them up and hold. Hold them, and as you're holding, try to lift the toes up a little higher with each inhale breath. Yeah, a little higher. Good, good, just strengthening, yeah. Okay, and then release. Good, and now just as a counter stretch, lift your heels. I just got a couple little adjustments there. And drop your heels and lift your toes. I mean, we do this a lot, right, in many of my classes because we don't really pay attention to working out our feet. And, guess what? They're what hold you up. This whole body is being held up by these little feet. Yeah, good. And relax. And now for a little more strengthening here. So our feet are about hip distance apart. We're going to lift your toes up. And we're feet here, right? Yeah, it's going to be hard. Yeah, lift the toes up and then pivot them out as far as you can, the toes, and then drop them down. And then lift them up, the toes up again, and pivot them forward. Maybe they touch and drop them down. So lift up, pivot out, drop. Lift up, pivot in, drop. Very mindfully. Do it as lift the toes as high as you can and bring them out as wide as you can and release. 2 more. In, up, out. You might think, what? This isn't any big deal. If you sat here and did this for about 3 minutes, you'd be like, okay, this is a workout. Yeah. Down, and last one, up, and bring them in straight forward and relax. Good. And then just rock them forward and back, forward and back. Working out our feet today. Yeah, good. Yeah, okay. So coming into a little upper body, now making our way up. Yeah, we're going to, actually, let's extend our right leg, get a little hamstring stretch. So either, find a comfortable way for you to be on your chair so that the chair is not digging into your back thigh. Good. And reach your toes back towards your shoulder. Good. Take a breath in, lift the heart. And as you exhale, start to keep the heart lifted, keep looking up slightly even, and hinge forward. Till you start feeling that hamstring, right? Also a muscle we want to keep nice and supple. And then look down towards the floor. Good. Let's bring both hands, one on top of the other, on the opposite leg, so on the left thigh, as we breathe. Good. And keep breathing, and each time you exhale, see if you can melt a little bit further towards the floor with your upper body. All right. And now on an inhale breath, leg is staying where it is. We're staying where we are. see if you can tighten your thigh muscle on that left leg or your right leg. Yeah, just to add a little bit more of a stretch to that hamstring. So engage your thigh muscle there. 2 more breaths. Good. And now on an inhale breath, bring your awareness to your left foot. Press down into that left foot and down into your hands to slowly bring your body back up. Good. And then take your right hand and help to bend that knee. Good. And just give yourself a little massage here. And we're going to extend the opposite leg. So maybe your left. Yeah, good. All right. So it's important if we had a rounded back and we went forward, we really wouldn't feel a stretch. When you keep your shoulders back and down, you keep your gaze up slightly and just hinge forward. So let's hinge forward. The nice straight spine. That's the stretch, right? That's when we feel the stretch because we're not rounding our back. Good. And feel free to bring your gaze towards the floor. And again, let's pancake both hands on now the right thigh as we stretch the left leg. And find some deep breath. And see if you can find a little more space as you exhale to just go a little further. Little further. And now engage and tighten that thigh muscle on that left leg. And just notice a little bit deeper stretch possibly on that hamstring. Working that whole leg, those big muscles. Good. And now on relax the leg, relax the muscles. Bring your awareness to your right foot, press down into your right foot and press down into your hands to slowly bring your body back up and rebend, help to rebend that knee and relax. Good. Okay, so we're going to interlace our hands here, lift our elbows up, bring our palms forward and stretch your palms towards the front. Yeah, towards the screen. Yeah. Inhale, relax your shoulders back. Exhale, press your palms forward. So you're sort of gliding your shoulders. Again, a nice stretch for our shoulders to keep them healthy. Yeah. And glide back. Good. Forward and back. Good. On an inhale breath, bend the elbows a little bit. Bring the palms up towards the sky now. Good. Once up, see if you can stretch your palms up towards the sky, pressing into your feet. Nice big breath in. As you exhale, tuck your tummy in and just let the hands fall forward into a little cat pose here. Press into your feet to inhale, come back up. And exhale, round forward, pressing your palms forward, tucking your tummy in. And one more. Inhale up. And exhale, round forward. Good. And inhale up. And exhale, bend the elbows, bring the palms forward. See if you can situate your hands or interlaced hands behind your head now. Good. Reach your elbows back. They should feel nice and open. Yeah, or a little more open. Lift the heart, lean your head back into your hands. And big belly breaths here. Yeah. Breathing in, fill the belly. Breathing out, belly draws back. To use Ujjayi breath in every class, if you have that, to get into that habit, especially in the winter now, these colder, it's a warming breath, Ujjayi is. So using that, good. And as you exhale now, relax, bring the head back forward, unclasp your hands slowly, slide your fingers to the top of your shoulders, relax your elbows down. Let's just do 1 or 2 circles here. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up and down. Pause and reverse. Do a couple circles the opposite direction. Good. And then relax the arms down and relax. Okay, good work on these shoulders this morning or today. Yeah. All right. So bringing the legs out a little bit wider. Gonna just massage the spine a little bit. Good. So we're gonna take a nice big breath in. Exhale it out. Good. Release your right arm down. Take your left hand, uncross it over to the right thigh. Turn your right palm out. Pressing down into your feet. Inhale, reach that right arm out and up. Take a nice big breath in. As you exhale, reach your right fingertips up, up, up a little higher. Good. Breath in. And as you exhale, reach up and lean over just a little bit. And then we're just going to massage here. We're going to inhale, come up slightly. Exhale, fall over to the left. Inhale, come up slightly. Exhale over. Good. And inhale up. And exhale over and pause here. Take a couple breaths into that right rib cage. Yeah. Good. And then pressing into your feet, slowly come all the way back up. And then with a bent elbow. Yes. And then relax the shoulder and let the arm fall down. Yeah. Good. And relax. Shake it out. Let's do the other side. So right hand on left thigh, left palm out, nice tall spine. Inhale, reach the arm out and up. And exhale, just lean over. I'm trying to keep that arm not forward so you can see it. It's sort of in line with your ear. Yeah. And then inhale, come up a bit. Exhale, come over. Inhale, up slightly. Exhale, melt a little further. Nice and easy. Inhale up. And this time as you exhale, pause and breathe. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Good. Smiling. You brought yourself to yoga today. Yay. And then inhale, slowly come back up. And exhale, release, relax the shoulder as the arm floats down. Good. Always coming out slowly, especially from those deep stretches. Yeah. And release and roll the shoulders out. Good. All right. And then toe, heel, toe, heel. Yeah. And we're going to go into a little bit deeper twist, not a lunge necessarily, but a twist. So you're going to turn sideways on your chair. You can keep both hips on your chair, both legs parallel to each other. It's just a really nice way to do a twist. You can be anywhere, right? You can be, waiting in an office, or you can be at the airport waiting for your flight, and just, we're going to twist over to the back of the chair and using the leverage of the back of your chair to just turn at our waist. All right, so let's just start with reaching our arms forward and up. Take a nice big breath in. As you exhale, reach your fingertips gently up towards the sky. Relax the shoulders. Good. And then inhale, we're going to twist to the back at your waist, just to where you can. And exhale, release your hands down, either on the top of the back of your chair, on either side of your chair, just depending on your chair. You can bring one hand, this outside hand, onto the inside thigh, and one hand onto the chair. Yeah, whatever's most comfortable for you. Take a breath in and exhale, turn a little bit more. And then turn your gaze to that back shoulder. Keep the chin parallel to the floor, not tucked down. Looking behind you there. Yes, and breathe. Good. So try to find that belly breath. This is good massage for the gut. Yeah. And as you exhale, relax now. Turn the head back forward. Bring the body back forward. Good. And then slowly make your way back to the front of your chair. Good. And then we're going to do the other side. So practice with chairs, but the key is to keep your spine straight. We don't want a rounded spine to turn. We want a nice tall spine. Yeah, and to help with that, I like to start with just bringing the arms up. Take a big breath in. Exhale, stretch your fingertips up towards the sky. Relax your rib cage. Good. And then relax and slowly pivot at your waist. Try to feel that motion. You can even press down on that outside foot to help turn you towards the back of your chair. Release your hands to wherever they're comfortable. Top of the chair, sides of the chair. See what helps to help you feel grounded in this pose. And then turn and look over that back shoulder. Go to your left, yeah, and breathe. Looking up behind you. What's going on behind you? Breathe into your belly. 2 more. Smile on the face, enjoying this beautiful stretch. And as you exhale, relax, turn your head back forward, turn your body back forward. Good. And then make your way to the front of your chair. Good. And relax. Just massage out your thighs. Good. Let's butterfly our legs. Good. And we're going to make our way to standing if you wish. Yes. So start with sitting at the very front of your chair. Hips grounded. We want a nice tall spine. So head right above the shoulders. Going to hinge forward. Good. And hands can either be on thighs or they can be on your chair if you need a little help, but try to use your hands as little as possible. So leaning forward helps that. Good. And a big inhale as we go up. So on an inhale breath, lean forward, press into your heels, press down into your heels to stand up. Yes. And let's make our way to the back of our chair. Scoot it out. Ooh, and let's move the body. We were sitting there for a little bit. So shake whatever you feel like you need to shake. Yeah. Notice what feels tender and tight today. Good. Our body's always a surprise. Every day it's like, wonder why I feel like this, or I wonder why that's hurting. It's just always a surprise. Or I wonder why I feel so good today and this is great. Yeah. And relax. Good. All right. And we're just going to start to step side to side here. Just moving the body, getting some motion going in our joints. Again, one of the main balance disruptors is our joint sensation. So we want to keep our joints moving. And now if we want to maybe just add little side to side with our hands. Yeah. So that's getting elbows moving, elbow joints, shoulder joints moving. Knees are soft, so it's moving the knee joints, right? We're pivoting side to side, moving our hip joints, even our little toe joints as we tap. Yeah, and ankles. Good. Couple more. And go as effervescently as you want or slow it down a little bit more. Yeah. And then slowly come back to center. Good. And find your mountain pose. Good. Come with feet a little bit wider apart, soften the knees. And now we'll pivot side to side. So inhale one side, exhale other. Inhale through that nose, exhale through the mouth. Breathe it out. Let out the tension. And one more. And slowly come back to center. Good. All right. So our feet are a little bit wider apart. Good. And let's just roll the shoulders, loosen up. Good. Now we're going to bring our legs up a little bit wider apart. Yeah. And toes on an angle. We're going to come into our goddess legs. So your chair is right in front of you. If you need to hold on to it, have it handy. If you need to grab it for any reason. Yeah. Good. Because like when we're off center, it is a balance challenge. This is what we're practicing. Yeah. But it's sometimes nice to just touch down on something if you're feeling a little, unsure. And then drop your hips. Good. And now notice your knees. If there's any discomfort in your knees, first try to scoot your heels forward just a little bit. We're trying to line up our heels, our knees with our heels. Try to stretch your thighs back a little bit. Yeah, just to take that pressure off. Try just gently pressing down into the pads of your toes. Yeah, take a breath in and exhale it out and sink down. Yeah. So we're trying to bring our pelvic floor just straight down. So this is really good work for these big muscles that we stretched. Good. And if it's available to you, bring your hands into cactus pose. Find yourself in your goddess pose. Again, any discomfort, just back out a little bit and then soften back in. Yeah, reach those thighs back energetically and breathe. It's good hip joint opening. Good. And now to practice a little bit more of a challenge, we're gonna, if it's available, lift your right heel up and release it down, and the left heel and release, and the right again. You can always hold on to your chair with one hand, or you can always bring your hands onto your thighs if having them up doesn't feel good. Good. And now pause here. And now if it's available to you, just a teeny tiny bit, see if you can lift both heels up just a half an inch. And we're balancing here on our toes. So you're going to be feeling wobble. Tuck your tummy in. Don't stop breathing. For 3, for 2, for 1. Release your heels. Relax your shoulders. Drop your arms slowly, bringing your hands onto your thighs. Good. And on an inhale breath, press into your toes and slowly straighten the knees. Good. And then to come out, gently lift your right toes up and bring them forward and down. Left toes up and forward. And then just step, step, step your feet, or heel toe your feet back to hip distance apart. I have a little tweak in my hip, so the heel toe feels like too much, right? So there should never be any pain in anything that we do. Yeah, good. All right, so coming into our little bit of a balance. So we definitely want to have your chair handy here. So remember we talked about that dorsiflexion. And when we lift our toes, lifting our toes is one of the most disruptive balance challenges that we have, because we're going backwards, and our brain doesn't like our body going backwards, but it's good practice for, any point in time when we take a misstep or whatever. So we're going to find your mountain pose, feet hip distance apart. Nice tall spine, shoulders back and down. Try not to lean forward here. You might need to send your hips back a little bit. Yeah, try to have a nice tall spine. Sending your hips back and seeing if you can lift your toes up here as high as you can for just 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Yeah, good. All right. Now what we'll do is do that again. So let's wiggle out our feet. Yeah. And so we'll try that again, and maybe you can just have a fingertip touching, or the fingertips on the front of your chair as you do that. Yeah, you just decide. So start with holding on. Yeah, and then lifting those toes up. Get that dorsiflexion going. And again, wobble is good. That is engaging so many deep core muscles. And see how, and play with it. See if it's just a fingertip that you can lift up. Finding a spot to stare at in front of you is helpful. Yes, and just do your best. Maybe you even lift your finger off your chair. That's super challenging. Yeah, but stay upright. Lift those toes. We're almost there. 3, 2, 1, and release. Isn't that great practice? Is that hard? And relax. Good. All right, sort of a counter pose to this. We will have to lift our toes up a little bit, but we're just gonna lift our toes and sort of walk on our heels a little bit. Yeah, for our final little balance challenge thing here. Yeah, so lifting the toes and see if you can walk side to side on your heels. Maybe forward and back a little bit. Yeah, good. So the brain right now is working overtime, really sending these signals to engage all the muscles so that you don't fall back. You can feel that, right? Kind of the brain is like, alarm, alarm, get those muscles tight. You tighten those glute muscles. Yeah, good. And then release that. So practicing that is really good for you if you can do that whenever you think of it. Good job. Okay, so we're gonna do a little tap. We're gonna need a little bit of space on either side, or just stand in the back on the back of your at the back of your chair. Yeah. All right. That even gets your heart rate up a little bit, doesn't it? It got mine up. All right. So we're just gonna sort of step side to side. We're gonna tap with our feet again. So we're just gonna step side to side and tap. Side to side, side to side. We're going to be switching up here. So then we're going to start to tap forward and forward and forward and forward. Good. Now we're going to tap back and back. So glute muscles are engaged. Nice tall spine, tapping back. Good. Now start side to side again. Good. Now we're going to tap forward and back, and forward and back, forward and back. One more, forward and back. Go back to side. And now we're going to do that same thing with the opposite foot starting forward, right? So opposite forward, opposite back, opposite side forward and back, and forward and back, and forward and back. Now forward and forward, forward and forward, and back and back and back and back, and forward and back and forward and back and forward and back. This is hard one, side to side. And now opposite foot taps forward and the opposite back. And we're almost there. Back and forward and back and forward and back and come back to center. And now we're ready to go square dancing. That's why dancing is so good for us. It's music, it's singing, it's balance transfer. Yeah, so get out there and go dancing when you can. All right, so coming into a little bit of a lunge, we're gonna stretch our hip flexor here. Yeah, so again, having chair handy, it's gonna be a tiny little tilt of our pelvis while we're in a lunge. Yeah, so let's start with right foot back. Left knee soft, left knee right above the heel, so don't have it beyond your toe for sure. Yeah, and you can widen your stance, just get to that point where you're feeling grounded. And pop quiz, who knows what we should be checking? That back heel, right? Is it in or is it straight back? Did we get 100% today? Good. And now if it's available to you, well, is one hand onto your hip. And then if it's available to you, both hands on your hip. If you're feeling a little bit wobbly, you can hang on to your chair. So take a breath in, exhale, sink your hips down just a little bit more. And now we're just going to do pelvic tilts here. You're going to press your tailbone forward. You're going to feel that stretch in this right hip flexor, and then reach your tailbone back. And then tuck your tailbone forward and tuck it and reach it back. Tuck your tailbone forward and back. Hopefully you're feeling that stretch. One more, forward and back. Good. And then you can hold on to your chair. On an inhale breath, bring that back leg forward. Yeah, we're trying to it's hard to find stretches for this hip flexor. I think this is a good one. And we want to keep that hip flexor again. You know, it tends to be short on a lot of us because of the position of sitting shortens it. Yeah. Let's do the other side. Step back, find your lunge, find your width. That makes you feel like you're nice and grounded. Again, check that back heel, straight back. Good. And then hand on hip, other hand on hip if it's available to you, or you can hold on. And then we're going to tuck tailbone forward and back and tuck it forward. Notice a difference, if there's a difference on either side. Forward, this one I feel a little more open. The other one I felt a little deeper stretch. And back, good. And release. And hold on an inhale breath, bring that back leg forward. Shake it out. Okay. So we're going to do a pyramid pose. Maybe we'll just do back a camel pose. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to relax the shoulders back and down. Find your mountain pose. Check in with that, right? Kneecaps lifted, tailbone tucked down, tummy tucked in slightly, shoulders back and down, palms forward, chin back. Yeah, just slightly, not over exaggerating. Good. All right, take a nice big breath in, exhale it out. And an inhale breath, reach your arms back and either interlace your hands behind your hips or bend your elbows, bring your palms onto your sacrum, onto your glute muscles there, right below your waist. Yeah, if that feels okay. Maybe it feels okay today because we've opened up our shoulders a little bit. And if it's not, just interlace your hands behind you, coming into a back bend. Back bends are warming poses. Soften your knees. Good. Lift your heart and look to where the ceiling meets the wall. Take a couple breaths here. Feel what the back bend feels like. If you feel like you want to try a little bit deeper, as you exhale, maybe gently push your hips forward and reach your elbows further back. Maybe you look up to the ceiling now, just opening up the whole front body. Find your range of motion. Yes, that fine line between, challenge and discomfort, a little bit of discomfort maybe, and safety. Good. Feel that opening, the throat, the thyroid, the chest, the heart, spine, and breathe. One more breath. And on an inhale breath, slowly bring the body back forward. Start to straighten the knees. Take a breath in. Exhale, start to slide your hands slowly down your glute muscles. Down, yes. Now we'll all unlace your hands if you had your hands laced, and then just bring your hands, let them float to your side. Good. Shake it out. Shake off any tension that you might have built up there. We're going to make our way to our chairs, back to the chair. So nice and mindfully sitting down, just find yourself in front of the platform you're going to land on. Take a breath in, exhale, start to send your hips back. Weight shifts to the heels, pause halfway. Take another breath in and exhale, just softly grab the chair and then allow the hips to land onto your chair. And let's sit forward. Yeah, and we're just going to do a little bit of a hip opener before our final relaxation. So, front of the chair, nice tall spine. Take a breath in. As you exhale, hinge forward, grab behind your right knee. On an inhale breath, hug it in here. Yeah, let's just do a couple circles for that nice loose dorsiflexion we've done. And then land your foot onto your leg here. Again, wherever it will land. You can maybe be further down on your shin, maybe on the outside of your foot, higher up for a bigger stretch. Once you're there, we want a nice tall spine. So lift your chest. Good. And take a nice big breath in. And as you exhale, hinge forward just to where you're starting to feel that opening. And then come up a little bit. And then exhale, just gently fold in. And inhale, come back up. And exhale, fold in. And now pause. Come to your, let your gaze go down to your, towards the floor. Float your hands off your leg and just gently place them onto that leg. Yes. And just take a couple breaths here. Good. Feel free to lift the right toes up a little bit. Get a little bit deeper stretch. Feel free to close your eyes and just linger in this stretch. It usually takes about at least 5 breaths before the body decides to allow you to soften into it a little bit more. Just notice that. Each time you exhale, can your chest get closer to that leg? Yeah. Good. On an inhale breath now, press down into your standing foot, that left foot. Slowly bring the body back up. So this is so good for you to do if you can daily, right? To really get those hips to open, release that leg up and off. And just let that blood flow, massage your thighs, massage your hips. Just let that blood flow dump back into that right hip. And we'll slide over to the other side. So hinging forward, hug in that left thigh, do a couple nice big rotations, opening up that ankle, reverse. Good. And then landing this foot. Yeah, you all at this point know, but if this is a leg up here, you can't have a nice tall spine. You just lay the outside of your foot onto your shoe, right? And then just open up that way. Yes. Okay. So nice tall spine, lift the chest, lift the chin, exhale, hinge forward, just so you start feeling that stretch. There it is. And then come back up. And exhale. Maybe you soften in a little bit further. And come back up. And one more. Coming down, softening. And now just finding your range of motion. Relax the gaze down. Again, float your hands off because the tendency here is to be gripping our leg. We want to have no weight. Yes, and just nice and easy, place your hands onto that leg. And find your breath. So a couple breaths here. Maybe you lift your left toes up, see if that changes the stretch. Yeah. And again, remember it takes at least 5 breaths for the body to begin to start to let you go deeper. Sometimes that's the biggest challenge, right? Is the stillness and the remaining in the posture, breathing. Good. And now when you're ready, on an inhale breath, press down into your right foot to slowly bring your body back up. And then you want to gently lift that leg up and off. Good. And again, massage into the hip joint, just letting that blood flow dump back into the hip joint. Good. And let's get ready for Shavasana. Yes. So we'll go about 5 minutes here. So getting yourself ready, you're gonna sit your hips back into your chair. Get yourself comfortable, warm. Yeah, good. Once you arrive in your posture, your Shavasana posture, feel free to lay down if you'd like. I like palms up on my lap. Feel the back supported so it can relax. Close your eyes. Good. And let's just take 2 or 3 nice deep belly breaths here through the nose. And each time you exhale, allow the body to start to soften. Shoulders. And then when you've done just 3 long, slow, deep breaths, go ahead and release the breath. Just come to your natural breath. And feel the body relax and soften from head to toe. Bring a little smile to your face. Feel shoulders relax and arms and hands. Heart. Hips. Your thigh muscles. Your hamstrings. Feet. Toes. Whole body relax now, just for this next 2 minutes. Breath is soft and feeble. Notice thoughts, if any, and just allow them to come and go. And let go of all of your efforts. Repose in this quiet stillness. And if thoughts begin to come and not leave, just bring your awareness to your breath, softly entering your nostrils and exiting your nostrils. Letting go of all your efforts. Notice how you feel. Feel free to remain here for as long as you'd like. Should you choose to slowly come back into this space and time, take a breath in through the nose and let it go. Begin to wiggle toes and fingers. Swing the body gently side to side, sweetly waking it up. Coming back to center. Slowly floating your hands into Anjali Mudra, prayer position, palms together at the heart. Good. Take a nice big deep breath in. And as you exhale, bow your forehead to your fingertips. We'll close practice today with this. The path is long, every step complete in itself. The goal is in every moment, not only the end result. For the end result is just another moment, every bit as good as all the other moments. One step at a time, enjoying each step. When you're feeling ready and complete at your own pace, gently begin to flutter the eyes open slowly as you lift your head. And I thank you all for coming, taking care of yourself on this beautiful day. Have an amazing rest of your day. Namaste.